Hey, good morning, gentlemen. My name is Purdeep Sangha. Welcome to the Complete with Purdeep Show. This is for you guys out there who are professional businessmen, whether you're an executive, you're a manager, you're a business owner, you're a serial entrepreneur. This show is for you. It's all about having complete victory in every aspect of your life. So thank you for joining us again here today. So before we get going with the show, please, if you could like and share this with your network, that would be great. Again, this is about driving value home for the guys out there, especially during this time right now. I'm getting more and more feedback from so many different people that there's a lot of men out there being challenged right there in life with just normal everyday situations, you could say, but you add on this challenge with COVID and social isolation. There's a lot of people, a lot of families that are challenged with that. So we want to help as many people as we can. I'm super excited about today's show because today's topic, we're going to be talking about something that's very important for men, and that is the word courage. So as you know, we're all about becoming the complete man, which means that you are complete from within, that you feel completely fulfilled from within. Because when you have that level of peace, that content, that fulfillment, that joy from inside, it's a lot easier to create and develop that life in your external world, to create that relationship that you want, the family that you want, have the business or career or the wealth that you're looking for. It all starts from within. And as you can see, I'm wearing my shirt today, the Complete Man shirt. My little daughter helped me get dressed this morning. She picked out a few of the things for me. So got the morning off to an awesome start. So when it comes to courage, I'm excited because at some point very soon here, we're going to bring on an awesome guest who is the very epitome of courage in terms of the challenges that he's been through and where he's at right now. But let's talk about courage, because I think that's a word that is very important when it comes to being a man, but it's a word that's not very much used these days. I don't think we practice courage enough as men. And the importance of having courage is so critical because a lot of people talk about fear. We talk about how fear stops us, or fear is the thing that's holding us back from achieving our dreams and our goals. But here's the reality. So when it comes to the coaching that we do with men and entrepreneurs and executives, is that everybody feels fear. I feel fear, you feel fear, every single human being on this earth feels fear. And sometimes it's a challenge to not feel fear. It's a human emotion, it's a natural emotion, and it's okay to feel fear because fear is there to tell you something. It's there to either warn you or tell you that you need to grow in some way, shape, or form. But what's more important, so I always tell guys, you know what, don't worry about the fear. That's normal. If you got butterflies in your stomach, if you're feeling scared or nervous, whatever that is, that's okay. What's more important is upping your level of courage, because your courage needs to be a lot greater than your fear for you to have that success and that victory that you're looking for. So if you're saying, hey, look, fear is holding you back, it's not your fear. It might just be a lack of courage. So that's an area that you need to focus on, is how do you build up your courage more than focus on your fears. So that's important. The other aspect of courage, and I'm going to say this very politically in a correct way, is that I see a lot of guys, I would say, lacking the courage when it comes to stepping up to poor leadership, when it comes to seeing other men do things that are unethical, improper, hurting other people, and they're not saying anything about it. So as men, one of our key roles is to hold our fellow man accountable, is to have the courage to say to some other guy, hey, look, man, I don't agree with what you're doing. You're hurting other people, or it's just not ethical. There's no integrity there. That's important. And you can do it in a very mindful way. You don't have to be belligerent about it, but it's important because we as men are there not only to support each other, but also there's a level of accountability that's important that I think in today's society we're really lacking. And it really comes down to, we see key men in key leadership roles either being abusive, being racist, or whatever that looks like. And it's our responsibility to say, hey, look, that's not good leadership. We need to call them out on it, again, in a mindful way, but actually address the challenges rather than let them, sit under the rug. And it really comes down to a story that my grandfather told me. And I will never forget this story because it shines a light. And now that I have kids, it actually makes me appreciate this story even more. And my grandfather was telling me about this man that lived in his village in India. And this man lived next to another man. So we'll call the other guy his neighbor. his neighbor was actually very abusive. He was an alcoholic, and he would beat his wife on a regular basis. And this man would listen to this every day, and and listen to his neighbor basically get drunk and beat up on his wife. But he didn't do anything. He didn't say anything to this man. And when this man's wife asked him, why don't you go over there and just talk to him and tell him not to do this, or help his wife in some way, shape, or form? He said, well, what right do I have to get into this man's business? Plus, he's a half decent guy outside. When I see him, he's okay. And you know what? I just don't want to say anything. So what ended up happening was his neighbor continued this behavior, and his neighbor had a son, and this man also had a daughter. So when this man's daughter got older, in her 20s, she actually ran away with his neighbor's son. So you can probably see where the story is going. Well, what ended up happening was his neighbor's son actually became an alcoholic and abusive as well. So now this man's daughter took off with his neighbor's son, who is now abusing his own daughter. And he had the opportunity to possibly do something, stop that pattern or whatever that looks like, but he never did. So because of not stepping up, and I'm not saying that he could have stopped this man or whatever that case is, but this man now he's passed away now, but was living with the guilt that he never stepped up to the other man, never helped that woman out. And as a result, his daughter is suffering. So these patterns become generational. It's very important that we talk about this as men, because we're seeing more and more of this behavior. If you take a look at some of the challenges in the US, so I live in Canada, but a lot of the work that we do in helping men is in the US. And it's very important because as a businessman, and from taking a look at capitalism, a healthy society, a healthy community leads to healthy economics. If the society isn't healthy, if the community isn't healthy, if the social circle is not healthy, then the economics drops as well. And there's a lot of studies to show the proof behind that. So if you want to be a great businessman, helping your community is an important aspect, because the higher level of economics within your community, the more money you're going to make as a businessman as well. So take a look at that. Healthier community leads to healthier business. And it's also important because more than 50% of children in the US right now are being raised without full-time fathers. That's a huge amount of children being raised without the care or the nurture, the love, the guidance of mindful men. And that is so important. And so what that's leaving is a huge gap in the next generation of what it means to grow up in a healthy family, in a successful family. Imagine not having parents there. I grew up with two loving parents, so I can't imagine not having that around. But I feel for some of the challenges, and it's our responsibility as men, as family men, to step up and say, what is the most important thing that we need to do for our family? And that's be there for our wives, our spouses, and our children. So with that, we do want to bring on an awesome guest again in regards to talking about the topic courage. And I also want to let you know that if you want to get more information about how to become the complete man, my new book, The Complete Man, is coming out December 1st, and you can get your free digital copy by texting the word free to 888-210-5566. And in this book, you're going to get strategies on not only how to be an awesome businessman, but how to be an awesome father and a husband as well. So with that, I'm going to bring on our guest, Michael Betancourt. Michael, thanks for joining us here today.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Michael, and thank you for taking the opportunity, because we're going to talk about some really cool stuff. You're a gentleman that is the epitome of courage. And for the audience out there, you look a little bit older than you might seem. You're a young guy. You're 20 years old. You've gone through a lot. So rather than me doing all the talking, Michael, why don't you show or share your story with the audience in terms of where you started, where you are now? But I'm gonna kind of ask some deep questions. So I want you to share all the tough times that you went through, because again, this is all about courage, and we want you to share the courage that you had to go through to get to where you are today.
So let me see where to start. I'm 20 years old. I would say at a young age, at 13 was when my mom and stepdad were splitting up. So it left me and my brother and my mom. My mom at the time was dealing with depression, anxiety, dealing with a bunch of stuff that was going on at that time. It was hard. It was hard times for my brother and I because she didn't have a job. We didn't have a steady income coming towards the house. It was tough. And I was only 13. My brother was uh, at a young age, and I was trying to do whatever I could to support him. Even if that was like by doing little fundraisers for school or trying to find what means I can to help for my family. I was doing it.
So sorry, you were what, 13 at that time, and you're taking care of your younger brother.
Yes,
And
13.
where was your mom? Like,
My
was she,
mom, my mom was, uh, my mom was mostly in the room, in bed most of the time, dealing with depression, mental illness. She was medicated, so it was hard to seeing my mom. She used to be energetic. We used to go out to now, where she was at that time. And it's hard to understand as a young kid without a role model in life, without a father, and now seeing your mom. It's like, man, what do I do now? So after that, I would say a couple years later, I would say at 15, my grandparents told us, hey, come down to Florida. We can help and support you guys. And that's where it all started, really. Because at a young age, I was doing what I could to support my brother, my mom, even if it was like little gimmicks. I could do little small little jobs. At that age, I would do. Um, Came down here to Florida at 15. My grandparents taught me a lot. They taught me the means of working hard for yourself and to be independently working for yourself, and to not let the past determine your future. So that's one of the biggest key that I really learned was you cannot let your past determine who you're going to become later on in the road. You have the power to change yourself, and that's the biggest thing that I've kept with me till this age, 20 years
yeah,
old. So yeah.
that's a powerful lesson to learn at such a young age. Now, what are some of the challenges that you faced when you were younger? Were you challenged with anything you could say that was not part of your character now?
Yeah. At that age, it's crazy. You would expect a 13-year-old to be supported, to have a mom and dad to be there. But at that age, you start resourcing to the opposite side, which is hanging with the wrong people. Um, it was the biggest change. At that age, I wasn't, how do you say, I was out with my friends. We were, going out, smoking, stealing. It was a tough life. I want to be very honest. And from that life took me an experience is like, hey, I don't want to keep on living this life. There's a change. There needs to be a change. My purpose is bigger than this. And I'm so grateful to say that where I am now in life, I accomplished a lot. And that the past has not determined my future. I'm never gonna let the past determine. It's a beautiful lesson, but hey, we're all strong here, and we can accomplish a lot. We can
So
accomplish.
what was the toughest thing you would say being a kid at that age? Was it not having parents around?
It,
Was it
it was
like,
it was not having that support. 'Cause I would have friends. I would see their moms and dads, see them very happy, see them watching movies every night. It was kind of sad to be at home, and it was just me and my little brother. And my mom was there, but most of the time she was in the room sleeping. So it was just hard to really get that support that I've always looked for at that age. That role model, really, that person where I could just go towards to and talk to, because it creates a lot of insecurities when you don't have that.
so I see, you have a tattoo on your arm there.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
does that represent anything?
Yes, and it's a sword and a rose. Basically, it represents where we're all flowers, we're all roses, we're all strong. If you ever seen the roses, they have thorns. They protect themselves. Basically, to me, it means, hey, you're beautiful, you're strong. You got to keep on fighting and keep on showing yourself that, hey, you could be the best, and bloom, blossom. Don't ever let anything stop you.
That's awesome. And how, like, where's your brother at right now? How's he doing? What was like? Did you shelter your brother when you were growing up? Is that some? Did he experience some of the same challenges that you experienced?
I honestly, he's still young. I don't think he really understands what we went through at that age, at that time in life. I feel like when the time comes, he'll probably ask me questions. But right now it's been a change, really. Yeah, he's he's doing good.
And how old is your brother?
Right now he's 14.
Oh, he's
14.
14.
Yes, yeah.
So you're 6 years older. Yeah. So at that time he would have been 7. That's a tough age to be at. And how's your mom?
My mom right now, thankfully, she has, this is the beautiful part, is she's working right now. She's working for her own dreams. She wants to invest into her own cleaning company. She wants to hire people. She wants to move out and better herself, which is a beautiful part. I would have never thought, my mom now wanting to better herself, which gratefully, with the grace of God, she is. And we're always motivating each other. I always tell my mom my ideas, she tells me hers, and we keep that same communication, which is a beautiful part. I remember back then I would talk to my grandma and I would tell her, I would like cry to her because like I was so hurt of my mom seeing my mom in that mental state. But my grandma would be like, patience, patience, she's gonna get better. Give it time, time. And she did. And we're there to support her and we're there to support each other, which is the best part.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. I'm glad because sometimes we hear, situations like this where it's not a good news story, where the person is continuously in that same pattern. What do you think got your mom into that state? Does she have a known mental illness just normally, or because you mentioned something, and again, you got to tell me what you're comfortable with, but you said your stepfather, which means that your original father wasn't in the picture at that time. Do you remember your dad?
Um, to be very honest, last time I saw my dad was when I was 15. But before that, no, I never really seen my father. He was never in that picture. It was mostly my stepfather who really raised me. Before my parents, they both split up. What really got my mom into that mental state is um, there's, I would say, I think it was like around, I think I was like 12 years old. What really got my mom into that mental state around that time was he was in the army, so he was really on and off. He was never home. He was always deployed. Um, and one night, my mom caught him cheating, and that really put my mom in a really deep state. At that age, I didn't know what was happening, but the more I get older, the more I understand what was going on. My mom did attempt to take her own life. At that time, I remember seeing it very bluntly. Um,
So
and that's what,
what did she do? Did she end up
yeah,
taking?
she ended up trying to take her own life. She tried to cut herself and take her own life. And I remember for 2 weeks I wasn't able to see my mom. I was with my grandparents. I didn't know what was going on, and after that, it just really put my mom in a deep, deep hole. Um, I didn't know how to react to it. She didn't know how to react to it. My family didn't know, and it was a past that really just holds on towards each other. But we know that we're stronger than that, and thankfully now we have better. we have better and risen from the past.
And with your mom getting bettered, what does she do, or what does she have to do, or does she have the support? How does she get from to where she was to where she is now?
So we ended up after we ended up moving back. We used to live in Washington State. So we at 15 we moved back to Florida, and my grandparents were the ones who really supported us. They're always motivational people, great people. They're always like motivating you. They raising up your self-esteem. They really taught me a lot of lessons. So my grandparents were the one that took me under their wings for the next 5 years until I'm 20. They really showed me what it means to keep on working for yourself, becoming an entrepreneur, the values of life, family, business.
Can I
Really,
just can I ask you on that? Because two things. Grandparents are awesome, aren't they?
yeah,
And
pretty amazing.
I think we underestimate the power that grandparents have and the influence that grandparents have. I grew up with my dad's parents, and they had a massive influence on me growing up. And I can say I'm the man who I am. A big part of that is because of my grandparents, especially my grandfather. And you mentioned something there in particular that I think is so important. We talk about work ethic, which I think, no offense to your generation or anybody younger, but I think I'm seeing personally, and this is a total generalization, is sometimes a lack of the same work ethic that older generations have. But you also talked about something really important is values.
Yes.
And can you share more about that when it comes to your grandparents and the values that they shared with you?
Yes. They really taught me the values of really what it means to work hard for the things that you have. Because I grew up with not having a lot. I didn't grow up with fancy technology. I didn't even have Wi-Fi when we used to live um, back then. But I didn't have much. But they really taught me the value of working hard and earning your stuff yourself. So throughout the rest of my life until now, that I've worked hard. They taught me to work hard for your dreams and have values for yourself. If it's family, if it's what do you want really in life. And to me, it's I want more time with family. I want to be um, financially free to support my mom and the people around me. And if that means that, hey, I had to I had to work hard and find some other method of really getting my family out that hole, I will do it. It's all about pushing yourself hard and not letting the past stop you. I will not let that dictate my future.
No, that's a pretty darn impressive attitude to have. I will not let my past dictate my future.
Yes.
I have to put that as a quote at the end of the show here because that is,
Thank you.
I think that is phenomenal because so many of us allow our past to dictate our future.
Yes.
And I see this quite a bit again in working with men. Is the same thing: is a past failure will impact how they react to situations today, and I have to tell them. And sometimes they don't even know. Sometimes a lot of these guys don't even know that it's a past failure that's held them back, or they've pushed it so deep that they just don't want to bring it up again. But they're not doing things, or they're making decisions that they shouldn't be making, or in the way they should be making, based on previous things that happened. Maybe they've screwed up in the past, especially for business guys. I see this a lot. They've had a failed business, or they made a bad business decision, and now they're afraid to do something because of that. And that requires a lot of courage. So what drives you every day? You get up, you're a young kid, you're 20 years old, you got a younger brother. What drives you? What keeps you going?
What really keeps me going is, man, I listen to these podcasts every day before I head to work, and what really motivates me is my future. I told myself this, my family this, everybody that's in my circle knows this. By the age of 25, I will have everything ready. Meaning, what motivates me and my drive is waking up every day, thinking for my family, for myself. What a lot of people fail in lack of is, what I see a lot is really just investing time into yourself, improving onto yourself. I tried not to be the same as everybody else. I want to be unique and different. That's what really drives me is what can I do to better myself every single day or the next day. Um, I've been working since I was at the age of 16. Um, I'm 20 now. I've seen how the industry moves. I've done a lot of research, and I'm just like, wow. What really motivates me is having just that push in life to be independent, to really focus on me, to help my family get better. I'm all about my family, and my brother. 'Cause I don't want my brother to struggle. I don't want my future son and my girlfriend, wife, to struggle too. I want to be able to support them and be happy.
That's pretty awesome because I hear two things there. First of all, is being future focused. That's so important. Again, if you focus on your past, you stay in your past. You continue to live in your past, and you continue to repeat the same mistakes and have the same emotions, the same thought patterns, and nothing really changes. But there's
Yeah.
something even bigger that I picked up here for you and for the guys out there watching this is having a purpose that's bigger than yourself and for others. Because when you have a purpose for yourself, that's a purpose for one. Right. And that's limited because that's limited to one. But when you have a purpose to serve others, that's limitless. You could serve 3, 5, 10, as many people as you want. There's no limitations there. And this is what I see. I see the guys that are most motivated and willing and driven to do what they want to do and need to do, like yourself, because they have a vision to help other people. They have a vision to do things for other people. And I see that in you. I see that burning desire, which is so commendable. I thank you. You know, for a 20-year-old, I have to say, man, you have a lot of maturity. You have maturity of a 40-year-old because the lessons that you're talking about when it comes to, okay, looking at your future, having that courage, doing things for others, there's guys that are older than me that still haven't learned that lesson. There's guys that are still pondering what that means. And for you to be able to learn that lesson at an early age, I have no doubt that at 25, you're going to be able to achieve everything that you want to achieve, because I can see that within you. So we're talking about all the cool things. You faced all adversity. What are some things that now are still maybe bugging you? Still, you feel like you're holding you back that you might be challenged with? I think we got you on mute there, Michael. I think we're having some technical difficulties out there, guys.
Yeah, I think Michael is your mic.
So the guys that you're hearing right now, that's Elio. He's our backstage guy. He's the expert when it comes to the tech.
Yeah, hello guys from the backstage.
He's the expert. So give us a couple of minutes here while we get this figured out. But I think this is Michael. Are you still there, man? You might have to just unplug and plug it back in. Don't you just love technology?
Yeah, technology is absolutely fantastic.
Okay, if for the next couple of seconds, hopefully we can get Michael back on here.
Yes. Okay. So let's wait for Michael to adjust that really quick.
Hey, Elio, why don't we put you online for a sec so people can see who works the magic here?
Hello, world. Hello from Florida.
Yeah, for those of you watching, Elio is my backstage guy. He's the guy that manages everything. He's the brains behind the operations. He's awesome because he makes his production look seamless. And he's also an entertainer himself. So next time we'll have him on, we'll show him live, and you guys can take a look at some of the work that he does because it's pretty phenomenal.
Yes, next time I'm gonna play some merengue for you guys. I am Cuban, but I like merengue from Puerto Rico. I play salsa, I play American music. I do it all. I love bringing joy, and what I say is bringing the fiesta to people. The fiesta means party, right? The good times.
Yeah. So I think we're still having difficulties with Michael here. So I think we're just gonna have to continue just for a couple of minutes without Michael, and then maybe we'll bring Michael on again on another episode. So Elio, maybe maybe do we have Michael's email up there? Because I think one of the things that we didn't get a chance to talk about is what Michael is doing right now, and I'll just give you guys a quick update. Michael is doing pretty phenomenal. He started his own business, so he's a manager at or supervisor at Starbucks, and he also has his own business right now. He's in the digital marketing space. So if you do have any needs when it comes to digital marketing, or you're in the Florida, I believe he's in Miami right now, and if you want someone to help you out with your digital marketing, you can definitely reach out to him. Elio, do you mind putting up his email, please?
Yeah, it's right there. The email, his email.
I can't see on my screen here, guys.
No, it is at the bottom.
I'm just seeing Michael on my screen here.
Let me see. You have it at the bottom. Yeah, michaelbetancourt12@gmail.com.
Okay. Okay, guys. So just to wrap up the show here, we're cutting it a little bit short. I hope you can understand. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but that does happen every once in a while. But this topic is, the show is really, again, this particular topic is about courage. And having courage from a number of different levels as a man. First of all, getting over your fear. Because, again, fear is always going to be there, but having that level of courage is going to be absolutely paramount, because courage is what helps you overcome your fear. Having more courage. So again, forget about the fear. It's always going to be there, but face or have the courage to be able to overcome it. The second, again, you heard Michael's story, very touching story. This young man going through all the challenges that he went through. And man, as he's talking about this, I can't help but feel, because I have 2 young kids. I have a son, I have a daughter, and I can't imagine what it would be like for them to live without me, or me not being present, regardless of, let's just say things didn't work out that well between my wife and I. Just not having that ability to influence them, be there in their lives, be that support figure, be that mentor, is a challenge. And I think I feel so badly for that. So the stuff that Michael has gone through is absolutely amazing in terms of where he is at right now, having the support of his grandparents, having that vision, not settling, not, you heard that quote that he said, he's not going to let his past dictate his future. It's so phenomenal. For a young guy at that age to have that attitude, if he can have it, you can have it. So that's my biggest, takeaway for you for today is focus on the courage, focus on letting go of your past, focus on the future. And again, just to give you an opportunity to get a free digital copy of my book, The Complete Man, text the word free to 888-210-5566. Again, I want to thank you for joining us on the show. Please like, share it with your network, and tune in.
Purdeep, I want to kind of like jump in really quick. Can you see
absolutely.
Can you see Michael and myself on the screen?
I can.
Awesome. I think Michael is ready, but here's the coolest part that you don't know. This is kind of like the encore of the show. Michael is my cousin, and I selected the story specifically because of courage, because the theme of the show, and because I know how many young entrepreneurs, young guys out there, they went from Michael's story to be completely lost. And because we don't want anybody else to be in that path, that's why we actually we thought about Michael being on the show, because it's absolutely incredible. And I think Michael is now good with the audio. Are you, Michael?
Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I just had to rejoin. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Awesome. Thank you. So again, I kind of wrapped it up there, Michael, but do you have any last words for the audience, for the guys out there listening? Because I think hearing from you is very inspirational.
The last thing I want to leave with people is you have the ability to change your future. You have the power to improve onto your own self. If that, it doesn't have to be financially wise. It could be literally any other goal. It could be finding happiness. It could be losing weight. It could be setting yourself goals. Never let yourself down. Always keep on pushing, and really just keep on looking for the better. Never settle for less. always know that there's more out there than what we really know. So thank you.
I love that. Never settle for less. Again, that's going to be another quote that we're going to put up here. So thanks, Michael, for joining us on the show. Truly appreciate it. And again, for those of you out there, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, Thursday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you again on the Complete with Purdeep Show. Again, please share this with your network. The more people we can reach out to, the better that we can help and get the word out. And one last thing, if you have any questions, because we have listeners that send us questions, please send your questions our way. Or if you have any suggestions or topics you would like us to cover, please do. So again, take care, all the best, and we'll see you next week.